reading that in a book, being so specific. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I was so impressed by this book. This is perfect for summertime. I feel like all of these books that I read, it totally gave major summer vibes. Summer camp, 1970s. You just meet so many like fun characters. These are all of the books that I read in June. So good. Before we get started, I am going to light this super cute candle that my dear friend Chaz got me for my birthday. Also, I love the smell of matches burning. I don't know why, but he got me this adorable rainy day reads candle and it smells so good. It's also raining outside, so it's perfect timing. But this is the Book Lover Soy Candle by Frostbeard Studio and it smells so good. It says fresh rain, ginger, and lavender, and then on the side it has books, but it's actually like the facts about the candle and the company, which is so cool. So this is gonna go back here. I accidentally set a very ambitious TBR this month. Now it's time to see if I got anywhere close to achieving it. I think I accidentally set 9 books, even though I only meant to do 8, which was a lot. So let's dive in. It was a very good reading month, especially for being so busy with my birthday, and then we had like a bunch of family members' birthdays. It was a busy month, so the fact that I still got all of these books done, I am proud of myself. I also want to add, this was one of the books that was on my June TBR, and I will probably be finishing it tomorrow, but that is the next Mrs. Parrish. I'm almost done with it. I'm about 60-something% of the way through. I'm locked in. So with that said, if I would have finished, which just give me one more day, then I would have had another book. But I did want to mention that because it was on my June TBR technically, even though I forgot about it at the end of the video. Anywho, starting with the first book that I read in June, we have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. Now he is such a comfort author to me because the first mystery thriller that I ever read by him, which was The House Across the Lake, was such a fun read and so different than what I was used to. I personally love Riley Sager. I actually got the signed edition last year when this book came out, but I finally got around to reading this, so that was really fun. Now this book is about our main character, Ethan Marsh, and when he was 10 years old, he was camping in his backyard with his best friend at the time, and the best friend disappeared in the middle of the night. All he knew was that the tent was slashed and that his best friend was gone, and it had remained a mystery, and it was such a safe town. It was very, very unusual. So 30 years later, Ethan returned home because his parents had moved and he was just taking over his parents' house, and it started bringing up memories, and then some mysterious things start happening on his street, and he kind of just goes down a rabbit hole of trying to figure out what happened. I had heard like mixed reviews about it, so I wasn't really sure what to think, but overall I ended up giving it a 4-star rating, and the only thing that I wrote in my review was oof, because of everything that happens. But I did enjoy it. I feel like it's definitely not my favorite Riley Sager book. I would have to really do more of a deep dive to figure that out, but I still enjoyed it, and it was also perfect for summertime because it did give you that, I don't know, like summer nostalgia vibes. 4 stars for me, maybe. I think I'll do a 3.75 just to be on the safe side, but yeah, 3.75 stars, Middle of the Night, Riley Sager. The next book I read blew me out of the water. I was so impressed, and I also have some like personal connections to this book, so I will explain that. That book being Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. I was so impressed by this book. Like, there were so many plot twists, and it was one of those things where it was like just when you thought you had it figured out, other things happen. And I feel like I've read so many books like this, but this one was different. I don't know, I really enjoyed this. I'm so excited that there is a movie adaptation, I think it's a movie, coming out, and I believe Lindsay Lohan is gonna be in it. But basically this is about Sloane, our main character, which Sloane is my middle name, spelled differently. But the other thing is they start talking about birthdays, and I'm literally reading it like the day before my birthday, which is June 16th. And she's like, oh, when's your birthday? And she says June 16th. And the other character, her birthday was 2 days later, June 18th. And I was reading this in my birthday week. So that was like kind of a really cool situation that happened. I don't know, I really enjoyed that. And it's funny because there's another book in the stack that I had another personal connection to like that, where it was just like very on the nose. And she also talks about working at a sugar waxing place, and I used to do social media marketing for a sugar waxing company, so it was like a lot of like personal ties, that like things that like you don't hear about often. Anywho, so this is about Sloane. She is a pathological liar, but she doesn't really mean to be one. And she's at the park one day on her lunch break and she sees a little girl get stung by a bee, and she goes over to help, and she instantly lies, tells them that she's a nurse. She helps out, she likes the father, and then from there she kind of manipulates her way into becoming the nanny for this family, and she ends up befriending the mom. I'm not gonna say much more than that because like I don't want to give anything away by accident, but oh my gosh, I was so like, I don't know, this was such a fun ride. And I love books like this because they're not like scary, they're just more like crazy. Like there's just so many wild things that happen and they're so entertaining. I just, yeah, really love this. If you couldn't tell, I actually gave this 5 stars, which I feel like I'm just like, I don't know, I had a good reading month. Like it was a good one. So highly recommend Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. I loved it. Now there are 2 books in this stack that I'm not gonna go too deep into my review, only because I have a reading vlog coming out with them. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out my overall rating of them, but I will explain my thoughts and feelings. I just may not give like the actual rating. First being Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. So I have some like personal thoughts about this book. First off, I love the title. I am a big Disney lover. There's a ride at Disney that Walt worked on called the Carousel of Progress, and the theme song to that is There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, and I literally have that tattooed down my spine. So when the title was announced for this, I was geeking. Like before the cover was even shown, I was just so excited. I will say it's definitely got a similar vibe to Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. You have Alice and Hayden are both competing. They have about like a month to work directly with Margaret, who is this heiress that was like in the tabloids a lot in the 50s and 60s and like all throughout the rest of her life, but she has been kind of in hiding since then, and they are kind of competing to see which one will be able to write a book on her, write a story on her. So they of course end up meeting. They spend a lot of time together. Whenever they are not interviewing her, they interview her separately. But this is perfect for summertime. It's set in a beachy Georgia town, and it definitely gives that like beachy small town vibes. I think that that is so on point. There was so much of this book that I loved, and then there was so much of this book that I wish was different. I know a lot of people said that they thought that Margaret's storyline was boring. I didn't necessarily think it was boring. I honestly just felt like something was missing. Like I said, I have a lot more thoughts on this book, but I can do like a deeper dive when I do that vlog. I promise it will be out shortly. With that said, I did overall like this, but it's not my favorite Emily Henry book. Once again, that would have to be like another deeper dive to try to figure that out, but I'm so torn because there's so much about it that I love, and then there's so much that I just so yeah, it's kind of my thoughts. Next we have God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This was a bit of a longer book to get through, and I knew that going into it, which I feel like because it was longer, I probably wasn't able to get to other books in time, but that is okay. We are here for the ride. We are here to enjoy the books. It is not a race, it is a journey. That is what it's about. I do just want to mention, I love these like pink drops. What I thought this book was about based on like the title and the cover of the book versus what it was actually about, 2 completely different things. I thought that they would be like fantasy based off of this and like the title of this, which I still feel like the title just doesn't fit the story. I don't know. Anyway, I had a really great time with this. It wasn't like my favorite mystery thriller. It's set in August 1975. There are like a couple of timelines. There's also so many freaking people in this story, and it was like so confusing to keep up with all of it. But it was about a family runs this summer camp, and the daughter of the family ends up going missing during one of the summers, which is weird because 14 years prior, her brother, which she never knew, had also vanished. So like the son of the family that owns the summer camp had also vanished 14 years ago. And it kind of takes you on like such a zigzag and like so many storylines, so many perspectives, so many things. There was so much of it that I did enjoy. This is 100% summer vibes. I feel like all of these books that I read, aside of Count My Lies, I mean, even then, like, there were some scenes in there that could be summery. It totally gave major summer vibes. This is like summer camp 1970s, so good. Like, I don't know, it really painted that picture, and it brought me back to when I would go to summer camp. That was really fun. I was definitely satisfied with how everything played out, but like thinking about it, I still feel like, I don't want to say something's missing, but I feel like there could have been, I don't know, I feel like there's something lacking in it for me. So I rated it 3.75 stars. I feel like I'll sit on that. Yeah, 3.75 stars for this one. And it did also win Book of the Month's Book of the Year. Like, it got like a big award and everything. So I feel like some people just might appreciate this book more than me personally. I liked some of the characters. there was just a lot. There was a lot to digest and a lot of different storylines to keep up with. So, and last but not least, we have The Love Haters by Catherine Center. So if you add that up, I only read 5, technically 5.5, but I read 5 out of my ambitious 9. So I really wasn't that far off, but we'll see if I can do better this month. I don't know. I have a lot of books that I want to read, and I also have some arcs from NetGalley that I want to read, so we'll see. Anyway, The Love Haters by Catherine Center. This is gonna be another one, and I'm so sorry to be annoying. This is another one that may or may not be featured in that reading vlog. This was 100% probably my most anticipated read, or at least one of them. It is so beautiful. I love the sprayed edges, and this was so fun. There's just like things about it that frustrate me, and I feel like I had such a good time reading it. Once again, perfect summer read. This is about a girl who was about to lose her job, and then she gets the opportunity to go do a piece on a US Coast Guard rescue swimmer down in the Keys. So she ends up spending like a few weeks there, but she doesn't know how to swim, so she had to lie about that. And you just meet so many like fun characters. It's definitely like got that like family feeling. It's got that tropical like Key West vibe. The male main character owns a giant like 150-pound Great Dane, and it's such a special story. Is it my favorite Catherine Center book? No. I think I really love the rom-commers. That might be my favorite. And like I said, there's just something in this book that I don't know. Did still love it. And this is the other book that had something a bit personal in it that I just wholeheartedly related to. And that is, she describes her eyes as hazel. I should really tab the page. Okay, I found it. She's like describing her appearance, saying like there's nothing special about her. But then she says, the single most remarkable thing about me, that I had nondescript hazelish eyes with a blurry little pie pea section in one iris that was light brown. And it wasn't even that noticeable. I never even noticed anymore. And as far as I knew, Lucas had never noticed it at all. That was her ex-fiance. Anyway, so she called it her like pie piece eye. I have the same thing in this eye. I think it's this eye. Hopefully my makeup isn't smudged, but like, do you see that like brown? Why am I looking up? I have the same thing though. Like, do you see this like brown spot in my eyes? Like, I have like hazel eyes with the green spot. Like, what? Reading that in a book, being so specific, like literally explaining my eyes like that was like insane. I was like freaking out. How crazy is that? So I think because of that, and because I love Catherine Center, I will probably rate it higher. But there is one part in this that literally is making me deduct like either a quarter or a half star, just because I thought it was weird. So that's all I'm gonna say for now, because I will do a deeper dive and give my full rating in the video. But with that said, these are all of the books that I read in June. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I am so stoked to pick my July TBR. I have so many books that I want to read, so it's gonna definitely be tricky to try to narrow it down. Maybe we'll do less this month, and maybe we'll just overachieve the goal. We shall see. So anywho, thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy book recommendations and just overall cozy vibes, please consider subscribing. It would mean the absolute world to me. And if you want to see other fun book content, feel free to follow me on my other social media platforms. Let me know what you read in June, and if you have any favorites or if you've read any of these, I would love to hear. And I hope you have a wonderful July. Bye.